Hello everyone, this is video 2 in our nutrition series. So today we're going to talk about macronutrients. What is a macronutrient? So break down the word. Macro meaning a lot, nutrient, something that we need to consume. So a macronutrient is something that we need to consume a lot of over the course of our diet. So what are the 3 different types of macronutrients? We have protein, we have carbs, and we have fats. All 3 of them are essential. We need all of them for different reasons in our diet. First, we'll start with carbohydrates. A carbohydrate is a sugar. It's something that we need to consume for energy. So there are different types of carbohydrates. There are simple and there are complex carbs. We want to consume much more of the complex carbohydrates than the simple carbs, than the sugars that you find. So different types of carbs that we want to be consuming. We want to consume fruits, we want to consume vegetables, we want to consume whole grains. We want to consume those a good variety throughout our day. Things that we want to consume a little less of are things like candies, cookies, things like that. While they are still carbs, like we talked about in the other video, when we're using our budget, we want to make sure that we're using it well, just like in reality. If we're using our money, we want to make sure we're using it well. If we're using our calorie budget, we want to make sure we're using it well. So number 1 is carbs. Carbs are for our energy. We want to make sure that we're consuming the higher quality carbs more often. Number 2, we have protein. Protein is used for repair and for building muscles. Protein comes in many different forms, all the way from we can look at dairy products, we can look at meat products, and then we can look at vegetarian options. When we're looking at proteins, we want to be consuming complete proteins, meaning that they include all of the different amino acids that our body needs. So a complete protein, many meats are complete proteins, a lot of dairy products are complete proteins. And if you are a vegetarian, you really want to make sure that you're consuming a variety of different protein sources to make sure that you're eating all of those amino acids. So number 2 of our macronutrients are proteins, and we need proteins for repair and to build muscle. We want to make sure that we are consuming complete proteins. Number 3, we have healthy fats. Healthy fats are very important for hormone production, are very important for our internal processing, especially for making sure that we're using the bathroom regularly. They're important for brain health. So dietary fats are often confused with visceral fat. They're very different. Visceral fat, or our body fat, is very different than the dietary fats that we consume. So when we're looking at fats, we want to make sure that we are not consuming trans fats. Trans fats, if you look at a food label, you'll see trans fats on the back of the label, and trans fats are very bad for our health. They give no benefit. They're really bad for our hearts. We want to avoid trans fats. We also want to avoid saturated fats whenever possible, but not quite as bad for us as those trans fats. When we're consuming fats, we want to look at monounsaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats. So some good sources of fats are nuts, avocados, fish, things like that. So we have carbs, energy. We want to consume good varieties of carbs from vegetables, from fruits, from whole grains. 2, we have protein. We want to make sure that we're consuming complete protein, getting our protein from a variety of sources, and that's for muscle repair and muscle growth. And number 3, we have dietary fat. We want to make sure that we're not consuming trans fat, consuming very little saturated fat, and making sure that most of our fat consumption is coming from healthy sources like nuts, avocados, things like that. So what is a good breakdown of carbs, proteins, and fats? Our macronutrients. You'll hear macros a lot. A lot of people are confused about that. Now you know. It's just how many carbs, proteins, and fats you are consuming. What is a good... Excuse me. No, thank you. Quiet. So what is a good breakdown of carbs, proteins, and fats? Like I said, you'll hear macros a lot. Now you know what they are. Sorry about the littles running around. They're always here somewhere. So for you personally, what should you be consuming in terms of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats? You want to be consuming about 30, 30, 30. That's a really nice way to break it down, especially at first if you're not looking for super in-depth fine-tuning of your nutrition. For that, you're going to need to see a nutritionist or a dietitian. So 30, 30, 30, or 33, 33, 33, if you want to get really specific, is a great way to make sure about a third is coming from carbs, about a third from protein, and about a third from healthy fat. So what is a way that you can figure out how much you are eating? That will be in our next video. So all that you need to know for today is we have calories, like we talked about in our first video. Calories are a budget. They are what we consume for energy. So it's like $1. Here's our dollar, here's our calorie. Everyone has a different amount that they can consume. Everyone has a different budget. We want to make sure we're spending our money wisely. Macronutrients, carbs are for energy. We want to make sure we're consuming quality carbs. Protein for muscle growth and repair. We want to make sure we're consuming complete proteins. And then fat is for a variety of healthy things inside of our body, very different than visceral fat. We want to make sure that we are consuming a good variety of healthy fats. Look for about 30 or a third. Look for about a third of each of them in your diet every day, and that'll make sure that you're consuming a good balance. And overall, that is our goal of nutrition. We want balance.